Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Shivang, and this is a place where you can expect to find thoughtful content aimed at living a life that is intentional, meaningful, and fulfilling. If you're expecting content that's supposed to be promoting hustle culture and purposeless productivity, this ain't it. So with that, let's get going. Today I really want to talk about creativity. So the media often portrays entrepreneurship and creativity as this kind of spark that kind of happens out of completely nowhere and becomes this huge forest fire. Now I think that makes for a great movie and a great memorable image, but that's not really how a lot of big and cool ideas form. At some point though, I really did believe that this is how great ideas were formed and created. They were just basically some kind of divine inspiration that you were either blessed with in your life or not. I think it's a very dangerous way to think about creativity though, because it kind of totally robs us of any agency to create and have any control over our creativity. Something that we actually do have a lot of control over. We are all creative, it's just a matter of whether or not we prioritize it. So when I was thinking about starting this YouTube channel, one of my biggest fears, even before I started, was whether I was gonna actually run out of ideas. I was worried that I basically had maybe 2 or 5 things to talk about, and 2 or 5 things do not make a YouTube channel. They make a very quickly abandoned blog post. But for some reason this time, I don't know why, I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna actually tackle this fear and I'm gonna see what else I can really talk about. So I opened up my computer, I opened up a blank spreadsheet and just started jotting down any kinds of ideas that would come to my mind. 2 hours later, I had 52 ideas documented on the spreadsheet. Now, I'm not saying by any measure that these 52 ideas are all great ideas. In fact, many of them I don't think were. But that's not the point. The point is that if I wanted to, I could really just give myself the time to be creative and come up with 50 ideas that I had no idea I had somewhere in my mind before. When I sat down to focus and just think of different kinds of ideas, my brain was making connections across books I've read, conversations I've had with people, solo adventures I've been on, and also just general trends around the world that I had an opinion on. In those 2 hours, I'd unintentionally basically given myself permission to play. I had no specific end goal really. I just wanted to try and get more than 5 ideas on this spreadsheet, and I was really giving myself full reign to pick ideas from any part of the world, any part of my experience, any books that I'd read. I then realized that I can actually schedule and plan these moments of creativity in my life. So without any further ado, I want to share the 3 ingredients to being our most creative and generative selves that I've found. There are actually more than 3 things that we can do, but these are the 3 things I found to be the most impactful for me personally. Number 1 is intentionally schedule some playful idea time. Intentionally put time in your calendar to do that one thing you want to do creatively and nothing else. During this time, as hard as it is, put your phone on silent, put it on airplane mode, and don't look at it. No more pings, no more distractions. Go to a place where you can be for hours comfortably. I'm not saying you have to be there for actual number of hours, but you could be there for many hours if you wanted to. And when you start making and creating, create for fun. I repeat, create for fun. There are no end goals, no expectations, no judgment along the way. Let the ideas and actions just come and go. Make or try whatever it is. Don't think about how much money this could make, how far something could go, how much fame it could bring you. None of that. Don't even think about how you would redo it. This is not a time to make any edits. This is not a time to reflect. And that's coming from me. This is not a time to reflect. When it comes to writing in this way, Matthew Dicks from the book Storyworthy actually calls it dreaming at the end of your pen, which I just love the idea. It's basically stream of consciousness writing. And so when I'm actually writing stuff and writing ideas, I'm basically just writing about anything that comes to my mind. I'm pulling from books, from experiences and moments in my life, adventures, conversations with friends, whatever it is. I'll go from talking about my breakfast this morning to work, to a moment in spirituality, to some social theory I read, just all over the place. It doesn't have to connect. It's just whatever I'm thinking, it's all out there on paper, or rather on a Word document on my computer. And just to clarify, this can apply for anything, even beyond writing. It can be improvising on an instrument, it could be photography, it could be developing board games or coming up with all sorts of different product and business ideas. It could even be illustrating looks for a runway, whatever, you get the point. The key is just to schedule the time, have no distractions, be in a place that's comfortable, and make and create non-judgmentally. It's kind of incredible and crazy how much effort we have to put to just play these days. But again, because you're doing things non-judgmentally, sometimes your idea times might not come up with anything you might keep. You might trash everything that comes out of the idea time, but it was still worth it because you still got all these ideas out on paper and done with. Sometimes you might have nothing to really do in the idea time at all, and that's fine too. But I think keeping the practice going itself lets us be our most generative selves, and we kind of just have to have some amount of trust and faith in the process. Number 2 is engage with quality stimuli. So in data science, there's this common phrase that goes garbage in, garbage out. So when people talk about statistics and artificial intelligence and machine learning, they'll often talk about some pretty sexy sounding algorithms like random forest and support vector machines and neural networks. But one boring truth underneath all of these hi-fi sounding algorithms is really just that if the data is garbage that these algorithms are fed, any predictions they'll make will also be complete garbage. Similarly, I think if we also consume only garbage and trashy content, we'll also only be able to produce garbage and trashy ideas. And the worst part is that if we're basically surrounding ourselves with garbage all the time, we may even lose our discriminating sense of what makes for good quality content. David Epstein in the book Range also talks about how the most incredible innovation really happens at the intersection of many different kinds of disciplines. So in addition to consuming high quality content, we also want to make sure we're consuming a good range, a diversity of content. That way, we really open ourselves up to many different kinds of intersections and potential new ideas, some of which could be world-shattering, who knows. I think the problem today is that we're bombarded with a lot of content that's really optimized for instant gratification, so enjoyment in the very moment, and it's not optimized towards inspiration. We have to be consuming a lot more inspiring content and engaging with a lot more inspiring, high-quality stimuli. And number 3 is letting go of the fear of failure. This is perhaps actually a prerequisite to idea time, which I discussed as point number 1. Or at least it would make idea time boundlessly more effective. Many times, before we even start creating, we just get afraid that it'll go nowhere. We don't even start. I mean, so what if it goes nowhere? How does that matter? Oftentimes when something doesn't go anywhere, a component of it or a piece of it might actually go a lot further. But again, even if that doesn't happen, so what? What else are you going to do with your time anyway? When Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook, he didn't realize it would become a tool to spread fundamentalist ideas and destabilize democracies across the world. He just wanted to create a website where he could rate women on his college campus. I'm using this example just to explain that sometimes we ourselves don't know where our ideas might go, so we have to at least birth them and give them a chance to develop. And hopefully, we can apply more wisdom than he did as we continue to develop the ideas further. On a more serious note, many best-selling writers of fiction also talk about how often they have ideas for characters and plots, but they actually kind of let the story develop as they're writing it. They have no idea where it's going to go, where it's going to take them, what kind of twists and turns there'll be. They kind of develop that as they're going. I think we really have to give ourselves some more grace for ourselves and our ideas to develop, and not just cancel them from the get-go because we just might think it's not going to go anywhere, even before we start it. And again, even if the ideas don't go anywhere at all, at least they're out of your head and you can now focus on something else. So it still serves you either way. Alright y'all, that was it for this video on creativity. I hope you got something cool out of it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up because that's super encouraging to me. If you know somebody who would enjoy this video, then share this video with them. And if you enjoyed this content and want some more, then hit the subscribe button so you'll know the next time I put out a video. And with that, I'll see you all next time.